figured most journalists would not disclose their sources.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day. Perhaps.
Claims like these need to be approached with caution, because much of what's spreading online mixes confirmed facts with unverified speculation. While recent document releases related to Jeffrey Epstein have generated attention, the presence of well-known names in such files does not automatically imply wrongdoing, as individuals can appear in contact lists, references, or secondhand mentions without any evidence of criminal activity. Which is why it's important not to jump to conclusions about figures like DeGeneres or Justin Bieber without verified proof. Many of the circulating claims about private settings, hidden connections, or alleged exposure are not supported by credible reporting and should be treated carefully, especially when amplified by commentary from entertainers like 50 Cent, whose statements often fuel discussion but don't serve as confirmation. The documented reality is already serious. Epstein was convicted of major crimes and had connections to powerful circles, which is why investigations and public interest remain high. But separating evidence from assumption is essential, because speculation about what someone remembers or why they haven't spoken publicly can quickly mislead rather than inform. And focusing only on confirmed details ensures the conversation stays grounded in fact rather than rumor.
Don't trust nobody. In Hollywood specifically, when you get there, a lot of people don't know how to say no. That's the difference between New York City and California. New Yorkers will tell you no, and in California, they don't know how to tell you.
Recent disclosures tied to Jeffrey Epstein have once again drawn attention to the scale of his crimes and the network around him, including material released by the Department of Justice that runs into millions of pages and contains evidence gathered over years of investigation, such as records, communications, and in some cases, references to surveillance activity at his properties. What is firmly established is that Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were responsible for abusing and exploiting victims, many of them young women and minors, in a system that operated in secrecy for a long time. But beyond those confirmed facts, a wave of claims and commentary has begun circulating that goes much further, including statements from 50 Cent suggesting that exploitation in powerful circles is not limited by gender, and that influential women could, in theory, engage in similar misconduct, a point framed as criticism of double standards in how society responds to allegations. However, when these general claims are extended to specific individuals, such as DeGeneres or Justin Bieber, it is important to be clear that there is no verified evidence in official records tying them to Epstein's crimes or to any confirmed wrongdoing. And references circulating online often rely on speculation, anonymous sources, or interpretation rather than documented proof. While Epstein's case continues to raise serious and legitimate questions about power, accountability, and hidden abuse networks, separating substantiated information from rumor is essential, because repeating unverified allegations about public figures can mislead audiences and overshadow the very real, proven harm at the center of the case.
So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party, though.
Uh-huh.
This narrative mixes a few widely known facts with a lot of speculation, so it's important to separate what's confirmed from what isn't. It's true that Justin Bieber entered the music industry at a very young age and was mentored early on by Usher, which gave him access to high-profile spaces and influential figures. And it's also public knowledge that entertainers like Sean Combs, Diddy, and DeGeneres have interacted professionally and socially over the years, appearing together in media and entertainment settings. However, Claims that attempt to link those relationships to the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein or suggest hidden misconduct in private gatherings are not supported by verified evidence in official records, and descriptions of secret parties, seized phones, or alleged networks spreading in the same way as Epstein's activities largely come from rumors rather than confirmed reporting. While it's reasonable to examine how power and access operate in elite circles, especially when young artists are involved, drawing direct conclusions about wrongdoing without credible proof risks spreading misinformation and unfairly implicating individuals. So the most responsible approach is to stick to what is documented and treat unverified claims with caution rather than presenting them as established facts.
Man, you good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Right,
My
okay.
number?
Yeah.
Claims like this should be approached with caution, because while 50 Cent has shared content or commentary involving Sean Combs, Diddy, and Justin Bieber, the way such clips are interpreted online often goes far beyond what is actually verified. Short video segments, especially when taken out of full context, can create a narrative that suggests hidden meaning or wrongdoing without clear evidence. And references to private time or unseen incidents are frequently amplified through speculation rather than confirmed facts. While it is true that Bieber was young when he entered the industry,
He bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, he could buy you one also while you're
He
out.
got me a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He had
time.
the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
at the time, many people brushed those moments off as nothing more than industry chatter between celebrities. But in hindsight, they've led to deeper questions about context and interpretation, especially as conversations around power, influence, and young artists have evolved. Still, it's important to stay grounded in what is actually confirmed, because while Justin Bieber has openly spoken over the years about personal struggles, such as the pressures of fame at a young age, mental health challenges, and the difficulty of growing up in the spotlight, those statements do not provide evidence for the more serious claims being suggested online. Similarly, references involving figures like Sean Combs or commentary from 50 Cent often fuel speculation, but they don't confirm wrongdoing on their own. What can be said with certainty is that Bieber entered a high-pressure environment very early, and like many young performers, he has reflected on how intense and overwhelming that experience was. But connecting those reflections to unverified narratives risks stretching beyond the facts. So while it's reasonable for people to ask questions about how the entertainment industry operates, especially when young talent is involved, it's just as important to avoid turning incomplete information into conclusions that haven't been proven.
Justin Bieber, he dropped this song. It went over our heads.
Which
It's actually
video?
about P. Diddy this whole time. He even came out and said stuff about how when he was younger, he was being taken advantage of, which is true. The problem was being a victim of the diddler. What happens? Because he has so much dirt on you, if you go out into the public, he may have videos, he may have embarrassing things. He might even have incriminating footage of you doing things that you were forced to under the.
Some people read Justin Bieber's strong comments about protecting younger artists, like Billie Eilish, as a reflection of his own difficult experiences growing up in the spotlight. And it's true that he has spoken openly about pressure, burnout, and the darker sides of early fame. But turning that into claims about hidden abuse networks or specific wrongdoing by others goes far beyond what's actually been proven. Phrases like betrayal can carry emotional weight, yet they don't by themselves confirm misconduct, especially when the entertainment industry is full of complicated personal and business relationships. Similarly, attempts to link Bieber's past associations with figures like Sean Combs or Ellen DeGeneres to the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein are not supported by verified evidence, and drawing those connections risks spreading serious accusations without proof. Ellen's decision to step away from her talk show and later relocate with Portia de Rossi has been publicly explained through career changes and personal choices. And while the timing may invite speculation, there is no confirmed information tying those decisions to Epstein-related investigations or wrongdoing. It's important to be careful here, because statements calling for someone to be arrested or labeled as a criminal require credible evidence and legal findings, not assumptions based on timing or association. What can be responsibly said is that conversations about power, influence, and the protection of young talent in entertainment are valid and necessary, but they need to stay grounded in verified facts, rather than turning into claims that could unfairly harm real people without proof.
I just wanted to be a good example, and it was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anyone.
The broader conversation here is really about power, accountability, and how society chooses which stories to take seriously. And while 50 Cent has sparked debate by arguing that abuse and exploitation are not limited by gender, that idea should be explored carefully without turning speculation into accusations against specific individuals. It is true that power, regardless of who holds it, can be misused, and the confirmed crimes of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell have forced a deeper look at how influence, wealth, and secrecy can protect wrongdoing for years. But extending those conclusions to figures like Ellen DeGeneres, Justin Bieber, or Sean Combs without verified evidence risks confusing suspicion with fact. Public interest and social media discussions often highlight patterns or connections, yet patterns alone are not proof. And phrases like, "where there's smoke, there's fire," can be misleading when applied to real people without substantiated claims. What can be responsibly acknowledged is that young artists like Bieber entered high-pressure environments at an early age and have spoken about the challenges and vulnerabilities that come with that, which raises valid concerns about how industries protect, or fail to protect, those in their care. The real issue is ensuring that systems are in place to safeguard vulnerable individuals, hold confirmed abusers accountable, and investigate credible evidence thoroughly, while also maintaining fairness and avoiding harm caused by unverified allegations. As more information continues to emerge in legally confirmed ways, the focus should remain on facts, due process, and justice for actual victims, rather than conclusions built on assumption. Because finding the truth requires both vigilance and responsibility.